What if the fatigue you feel isn't from the outside world, but from a sacred energy trapped inside you? An energy your nervous system has been silently storing for years. Carl Jung believed that beneath the noise of modern life, there's an ancient reservoir of psychic force waiting to be released. Not through medication or motivation, but through understanding the forgotten codes of your own inner system. This energy is real. It flows through the body like a sacred current, hidden beneath emotions, symbols, and shadows. In this journey, we're going beyond psychology. We're diving into forbidden spiritual knowledge, exploring how ancient traditions, lost civilizations, and Jung's most esoteric teachings converge on one powerful truth. Your nervous system is not a machine. It's a multidimensional tool designed to awaken your soul's full vibration. From the etheric body to visualization rituals, and from suppressed emotions to archetypal gateways, every layer of your being is encoded with a spiritual map you've never been taught to read. This is not just self-help, it's self-initiation. You will uncover how energy blockages are created, how to transmute emotional wounds into soul fuel, and how visualization can reactivate forgotten pathways of light within your system. Jung's process of individuation isn't a concept, it's a spiritual technology. And the moment you begin using it, you will sense a shift in your reality, as if something ancient inside you has finally remembered why you came here. Prepare to experience a transformation that is visceral, mysterious, and completely yours. What awaits is not a belief, it's a frequency, a vibration stored in your nervous system now ready to be unlocked. And once you open this gate, there's no going back, only forward into the dimension of the soul. There exists a silent architecture within you, an ancient intelligence coded into your nervous system. Carl Jung hinted at this subtle current, describing it not only as a biological network, but as a sacred bridge between the material and the metaphysical. While science stops at electricity and reflex, mystics have long seen this web as the very conductor of soul energy. The spine, in many esoteric systems, mirrors the tree of life, vibrating with ancient energy that modern medicine cannot yet fully explain. What if the tension in your body is not just stress, but a blocked message from the soul? Throughout Jung's research, he often returned to the idea of psychic energy, what he called libido, as more than a sexual or survival force. To Jung, it was the essence of creative life itself, channeled through symbols, dreams, and bodily sensations. The nervous system, he suggested, is the language of this force in the physical world. When overstimulated or ignored, the body sends warnings, fatigue, anxiety, or numbness. These are not symptoms to silence, but doorways to decode. Esoteric traditions, Taoist, Vedic, and even Gnostic, knew this truth long before laboratories existed. They mapped energy centers, now known as chakras, aligned with nerve plexuses, and taught techniques to awaken dormant frequencies. Breathing rituals, sacred geometry, and mudras were not superstition, but ancient nervous system activators. Carl Jung believed that reconnecting with these forgotten tools could unlock the very energy trapped within our modern disconnection. We lost the language of the soul when we stopped listening to the body's whispers. Today, what we dismiss as burnout may in fact be a deeper dislocation from our true energetic blueprint. The nervous system isn't just a machine, it's a living antenna, capable of tuning into hidden dimensions and forgotten knowledge. What happens when we begin to clear the signal? When the static of trauma, fear, and ego gives way to divine resonance? Perhaps then we tap into an energy not taught in schools, but preserved in sacred scrolls and deep dreams. And in that silence, a new path begins to pulse. Deep within Carl Jung's lesser-known writings lies a treasure map, guiding us not toward gold, but toward the transmutation of the self. He saw the psyche as an alchemical furnace, where raw emotion and unconscious material could be refined into spiritual insight. This wasn't metaphor, it was a real inner process, akin to ancient alchemists turning lead into gold. Jung called it individuation, the sacred path of transforming chaos into consciousness. And at its core burns a radiant energy, often mistaken for mere thought. Jung believed that psychic energy was malleable, capable of shifting forms much like matter under alchemical influence. It could take the shape of fear, desire, or artistic expression, each revealing the soul's current vibrational state. When we repress these forces, we don't eliminate them, we bury them, and what's buried festers, influencing our lives from the shadows. Jung's inner alchemy calls for illumination, not with fire, but with awareness, integration, and ritual. Ancient esoteric science knew this too. The practice of transmutation, used in Hermetic, Kabbalistic, and Eastern systems, mirrors what Jung rediscovered through psychology. He revived the language of the inner world, where symbols are keys and archetypes are energetic portals. To activate this psychic energy is to awaken the sacred engine of transformation. It's not an intellectual task, it's a soulful surrender to the mysteries encoded in your unconscious mind. Modern society teaches us to suppress what is wild and unknown, but Jung invites us to become inner alchemists, to trust that our nervous system can hold the fire of transformation without burning us. That within every neurosis is the seed of awakening. When you dare to explore the symbolic language of your soul, something begins to shift, and just beyond that shift waits a hidden chamber of power that few dare to enter. Beneath the surface of flesh and bone, another body pulses quietly, an energetic double known as the etheric body. Carl Jung never named it directly, but his exploration of dreams, symbols, and mystical visions hinted at its existence. In esoteric science, the etheric body is the bridge between the nervous system and the soul, carrying messages, impressions, and sacred frequencies. It functions like an invisible bloodstream of energy, flowing through meridians and pathways unknown to modern anatomy. These currents aren't imagination, they are the architecture of unseen reality. Many ancient civilizations charted these paths with precision. The Chinese spoke of qi, the Hindus of prana, and the Egyptians of ka. All of them described an invisible matrix that influenced not only health, but destiny. When these pathways are blocked, life loses vitality, synchronicity fades, and the soul feels trapped in a dull rhythm. Jung saw these symptoms not just as psychological, but as spiritual disconnection, an energetic misalignment crying for attention. To him, the path back was not through logic, but symbolic reconnection. Activating these etheric channels begins with stillness and conscious breath. Sacred geometries, vibrational sounds, and visualization rituals serve as keys to reawaken the flow. When the energy moves, it speaks. It whispers through tingling skin, warm currents, or waves of emotion. Jung understood that these sensations weren't hallucinations, but the language of the inner world. When we learn to read them, we decode the sacred technology hidden within ourselves. This flow is not random. It has direction, intelligence, and intention, but most people will never feel it because they were never taught to look inward. The etheric body responds not to control, but to surrender, to presence. And just as rivers shape the land, these energetic streams shape your reality from the inside out. What if tuning into these secret channels is the first step toward unlocking the dimension of the soul? The body remembers what the mind tries to forget. Carl Jung knew that every repressed feeling becomes a seed buried deep in the unconscious, silently shaping our lives. What many call emotional baggage is in truth spiritual interference, a vibration trapped in the nervous system, distorting the flow of psychic energy. These suppressed emotions act like energetic implants, clouding intuition, dulling perception, and weakening the soul's resonance. Not facing them doesn't make them vanish, it makes them stronger. In Jungian psychology, the shadow represents this repressed material, fears, desires, and traumas we disown. Yet each of these holds a fragment of our lost power. Emotions are not enemies, they are energy in motion, waiting to be honored. When silenced, they form psychic knots that echo through the etheric body, creating dissonance in our spiritual vibration. This disruption can manifest as anxiety, confusion, or even spiritual numbness. It is not pathology, it is misalignment. Many mystical traditions speak of clearing the vessel before receiving higher light. The emotional body must be purified for the soul energy to rise. Carl Jung's work supports this. Healing isn't just insight, but integration. When we sit with grief, rage, or shame, not to judge but to witness, we transform pain into power. The nervous system begins to untangle, and the sacred energy starts to circulate freely once more. Suppressed feelings are the guardians of the gates we fear to open. You may feel tired for no reason, unable to concentrate or detached from your purpose. Often these are not mental issues, but energetic blockages caused by emotions unspoken and wounds ignored. True empowerment lies in the courage to feel what you've avoided. Because behind every spiritual block is a story longing to be seen. And when it is, something remarkable begins to awaken. To meet the shadow is to meet the buried self. Carl Jung didn't create the concept of the shadow. He uncovered it from the forgotten vaults of human consciousness. It is the part of you that you hide, deny, or deem unworthy. Yet, paradoxically, within it lives your trapped vitality. The shadow holds the very psychic energy you seek to awaken, but in its unrefined, neglected form. Stagnant energy isn't always caused by external forces. Often it is self-created through years of emotional suppression and unconscious patterns. When we push away the aspects of ourselves that feel unlovable, they don't disappear. They simply hide in the energetic basement of our being. There they wait, leaking power and silently pulling strings. Jung taught that only by turning inward, by shining light into those darker places, can true healing begin. This is not about self-blame. It's about self-reclamation. The shadow holds immense power because it is raw and primal. It is the force behind creativity, sexual energy, intuition, and drive. When reintegrated, these fragmented energies realign with your higher consciousness, creating a surge of clarity and purpose. Spiritual transformation doesn't come from escape. It comes from courageous descent, from choosing to meet the dragon within and discovering it was guarding your treasure all along. What if the very fatigue you carry is your soul fighting to free itself from your disowned truth? The nervous system responds to denial with disconnection, but it also responds to authenticity with flow. When you stop fighting your shadow and begin to listen, stagnant energy becomes sacred fuel. And the deeper you go into your own unconscious, the closer you get to something ancient, powerful, and liberating. Carl Jung didn't merely study the psyche, he deciphered the sacred language of the soul. He realized that certain symbols, dreams, and recurring images weren't random. They were universal codes woven into the collective unconscious. These are archetypes, eternal blueprints of human experience that carry immense psychic energy. From the wise old man to the divine child, these figures live inside us, shaping our fears, desires, and destinies. They don't just appear in myth, they appear in you. Each archetype activates a unique vibrational frequency within the soul. The hero awakens courage, the shadow challenges denial, the lover stirs connection. These inner figures are more than metaphors, they are multidimensional energy patterns. Jung believed the nervous system responds to these symbolic forms as if receiving encrypted messages from beyond the veil. That's why a symbol seen in meditation or a recurring dream can stir such profound emotion. It's your spirit recognizing its ancient code. Esoteric traditions have always revered sacred symbols, the Ouroboros, the mandala, the lotus, the tree, of life. These are not just artistic expressions, they are energetic portals, visual frequencies that realign the soul's vibration. Carl Jung often drew mandalas spontaneously, believing they were maps of inner transformation. These designs weren't meant to be admired, they were meant to be felt. To gaze upon one is to tune into a forgotten rhythm pulsing through your own spiritual DNA. What happens when you stop dismissing symbols as coincidences and begin treating them as messages? When you decode the archetypes guiding your life, you no longer walk blindly, you walk initiated. Your nervous system begins to attune to sacred frequencies that bypass logic and awaken truth. And once you learn to read the soul's language, a whole new level of spiritual technology becomes available. There is a dormant force inside you, not asleep by nature, but forgotten by conditioning. Carl Jung knew that the unconscious mind doesn't respond to logic, it responds to image, emotion, and ritual. Visualization is more than imagination, it is the soul's native language. When done with intention, Visualization becomes a sacred practice, an energetic technology that speaks directly to the nervous system and activates hidden channels. It is the unseen lever that can lift the veils of the mundane. In many esoteric schools, rituals involving light, color, geometry, and breath were used to unlock dormant soul codes. These weren't symbolic games, they were precise techniques designed to stimulate energetic flow and open interdimensional pathways. Jung observed that symbols used in visualization often mirrored archetypes that emerged spontaneously in dreams. This overlap wasn't coincidence, it was resonance. When the inner world is aligned, the nervous system responds like a tuning fork to higher frequencies. To visualize is to reprogram the etheric blueprint. Picture light flowing through your spine, sacred fire illuminating your solar plexus, or ancient glyphs pulsing over your chakras. These are not fantasies. They are subtle energetic commands, shaping your inner vibration and dismantling energetic implants. The more vivid the image, the deeper it penetrates the subconscious and rewires. Energetic stagnation. Jung understood that the unconscious needed theater, not theory. Most people live trapped in someone else's story. But when you begin to design your own inner rituals, you reclaim authorship of your soul journey. The nervous system, when harmonized with conscious imagery, becomes a transmitter of divine intention. What you once believed to be just your imagination may in fact be the password to a forgotten multidimensional reality. What if your outer reality is just the visible projection of your subconscious beliefs? Carl Jung insisted that until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. This wasn't philosophy, it was a warning. The subconscious stores forgotten memories, ancestral patterns, and energetic imprints that quietly shape how your nervous system responds to the world. These unseen programs are the architects behind the repeating cycles we cannot seem to break. In esoteric science, the subconscious is the gatekeeper of vibrational frequency. It receives signals from the spiritual plane and transmits them through symbols, emotions, and instinctive reactions. The nervous system becomes its interface, broadcasting your internal script outward as physical experiences. If you carry guilt, unworthiness, or unresolved pain in your subconscious, reality bends to confirm those vibrations. Jung viewed these manifestations not as punishment, but as invitations for inner revision. Manipulating reality is not about control, it's about coherence. When your thoughts, emotions, and subconscious patterns align with higher truth, energy flows without resistance. This alignment transforms the nervous system into an amplifier for your soul's intent. Visualization, journaling, and ritual aren't spiritual entertainment, they're tools for subconscious rewiring. Jung's work with active imagination was a method of consciously dialoguing with the unconscious to reshape energetic narratives. You are not a victim of your reality, you are its unconscious author. When you change the signal within, the projection outside begins to shift. The subconscious, once ignored, becomes your greatest ally in transmuting limitation into liberation. And as you begin to rewrite the scripts etched in silence, a new vibrational architecture starts to emerge. Vibrational healing isn't just a mystical concept, it's an ancient science, rediscovered through modern psychology and spiritual practices. Carl Jung's process of individuation mirrors this esoteric path, where fragmented aspects of the self are harmonized into a coherent whole. Every emotion, thought, and archetype vibrates at a unique frequency. When the soul is fractured, the nervous system broadcasts dissonance. Individuation restores that lost harmony, aligning the energy body with its true spiritual blueprint. In vibrational healing, resonance is the key. Sounds, colors, symbols, and intentions all carry frequencies that either disturb or balance your inner field. Sacred chants activate dormant energy. Light frequencies repair etheric tears. Jung knew this indirectly. He used symbols and dreams as tuning tools to raise awareness and align the psyche. As the conscious and unconscious merge, the body responds with a new coherence. You don't just feel better, you become more energetically complete. Ancient wisdom systems, from Ayurvedic nadis to Kabbalistic paths, describe vibrational layers of being. When these are in harmony, energy flows freely, facilitating healing not only of the body, but of karma and soul memory. Jung's emphasis on the union of opposites, masculine and feminine, conscious and unconscious, reflects the sacred balance required for energetic integration. He wasn't just analyzing the mind, he was guiding people toward vibrational sovereignty. The process of individuation is not linear, it spirals inward. Each revelation, each symbolic dream, releases energy once trapped in psychological conflict. As this energy rises, the nervous system stabilizes, clarity returns, and the soul begins to radiate its authentic vibration. But the true potential of this healing reveals itself more clearly as we enter the final threshold. There is a boundary most people never cross, not because it is hidden, but because it is ignored. The connection between the nervous system and the astral plane is one of the most protected secrets in esoteric knowledge. Carl Jung understood that the psyche doesn't end at the skin, it extends into dimensions beyond matter. During altered states, lucid dreams, or deep meditation, the nervous system becomes a conductor between the physical world and subtle realms. The question is not if the connection exists, but if you're tuned into it. Ancient initiates believed that the spine and brain were not only biological structures, but gateways. The pineal gland, for example, was regarded as the seat of spiritual perception, capable of decoding signals from other planes. When the nervous system is cleansed, harmonized, and quieted, it begins to register sensations from dimensions beyond, three-dimensional space. These aren't hallucinations, they are perceptions from the soul's higher bandwidth. Jung hinted at this in his exploration of mystical experiences and collective archetypes. When someone experiences déjà vu, prophetic, dreams, or a sudden intuitive knowing, it is often the astral body reaching through the nervous system to deliver a message. This bridge between worlds explains why deep emotional healing often leads to visionary insight. As blockages are cleared, spiritual clarity returns. The soul is no longer trapped in the noise of survival, but elevated to the resonance of higher truth. The astral plane is not a fantasy. It is a layer of consciousness accessible through refined awareness. Those who learn to walk this threshold begin to live with one foot in mystery and the other in purpose. The nervous system becomes an antenna, the mind a mirror, and the heart a compass. What you once dismissed as coincidence begins to form a pattern, and from that pattern, a new perception emerges, inviting you to step into realms that were always waiting on the other side. You've just taken the first steps into a reality most people will never glimpse, a reality where your nervous system is more than biology, and your emotions are more than reactions. They are keys. Each insight, each symbol, and each energetic shift you've encountered in this journey carries a deeper purpose, to reconnect you with the infinite force that has always lived within you. Carl Jung didn't just speak about the unconscious, he gave us the map to awaken it. When you begin to feel the flow of soul energy rising through your spine, when your dreams stop being random and start guiding your actions, you'll realize something profound. You were never disconnected, only distracted. You now hold a sacred responsibility to honor this knowledge, apply it, and let it reshape your reality from within. Healing is no longer abstract. It's happening here and now, in every breath, in every choice, in every awakening. I invite you to share in this awakening. Comment below and tell us which part of this journey stirred something deep inside you. Which insight felt like a forgotten truth coming home. And if this message lit a spark in you, don't let it fade. Subscribe to the channel, give the video a like, and stay connected to this sacred path of knowledge. You are part of a rare group seeking what most are too afraid to see. And before you go, don't miss the next video that's appearing on your screen right now. It continues this path, one step deeper into the mysteries that will reshape how you see energy, life, and yourself.